What does an apartment building manager do? G'day, it's Andrew Murray here from Apartment Specialists, talking about building managers. Now, a lot of people think they've got an easy ride. Now, it's actually not the case. So I'm going to talk to you today about what a building manager in an apartment complex actually does, day to day and throughout the year. Now, there are two main aspects of what a building manager does, and one is the day-to-day maintenance of the building. And this will be anything from your cleaning to your safety checks with the council, that kind of thing. And the second aspect, which is the most important, is your communication with your owners, i.e. at owners committees and at AGMs and things like that. So I'll firstly go into the first part, which is your day-to-day operations. And the first one that comes to mind is obviously cleaning. So this is where, basically, if you look at an apartment complex, it's like a huge house. But you've got one guy who's in charge, or female, in charge of basically making sure all the chores to do with the maintenance of that large building or house is done. And it's cleaning, it's watering the plants, it's building washes, it's making sure the rubbish is removed, that's making sure that all the tests that have to happen each year for the council, i.e. the fire checks, the building warrant fitness, all these kind of tasks. And there's a lot. There's things that have to be done every day and weekly and that kind of thing. Now, the second part of this maintenance is the long-term maintenance plan. So they're not just in charge of looking after the building at the moment. They're in charge of looking after the future of the building. So that's looking at the long-term maintenance plan, i.e. in 3 years' time the building may need to be painted, so they'll have to coordinate that. It's also reporting back on when things need to be done, i.e. the carpet's looking pretty good at the moment, it was supposed to be replaced next year, but it's actually standing up pretty good, so let's push it out a year in a long-term maintenance fund, that kind of thing. They're also responsible for the culture. Now, the culture is what I call it, but most people refer it to as the body corporate rules. For example, noise in the complex, late hours having music, or whether people are allowed to have washing on their balcony. Washing on your balcony often makes the complex look not that nice. So making sure the tenants or the owners are not having washing on their balconies is part of the building manager's job to enforce that. And I see that as enforcing the culture and upkeeping the standard that the body corporate has all agreed to, or the owners have agreed to, and which needs to be obviously upheld. Now, the second aspect, which is the most important part, which is you can't really talk about it that much, but it's really reporting to the owners. And that's at an annual general meeting level, as I mentioned before, or an owners committee level. Now, if you think of an apartment complex as one big community, and there's always something going on, and the building manager is the eyes and the ears of the owners. They're on the ground floor, they're there all the time. So they know when issues are coming up. They know what's going well, they know what's not going well, and they'll have suggestions on how to improve the daily management of the building. And so it is very important that a building manager attends every single AGM, obviously, and most do, some don't, but in my opinion, every single committee meeting should be attended by the building manager to enable to give the owners the feedback they need, especially when they're making decisions on how the building should be managed. That building manager needs to be very efficient. As you can see, there's a lot to being a building manager, and it's not as easy as it sounds, and they deserve more respect than I believe in the industry, because a great building manager is absolutely gold. Anyway, Andrew Murray, Apartment Specialist, just talking about what building managers do when looking after an apartment complex. Cheers, thank you.